Oh, yes. Welcome into the Press Row Show, the number one rated pregame, intermission, postgame show this side of the Mississippi, south of the Arctic Circle, north of the equator, west of, I don't know, I'll pick a random country here. How about Italy?
That's a good
West
one.
of Italy. I'm intern Andrew. Bundy over there doing pregame radio. And then, of course, Russ ditched us. He's in New York. Ant ditched us. He's in Florida. But we got all reliable back here. It's the one, the only, the legendary Bill Meltzer. Bill, thank you again for doing this.
Always a pleasure, Andrew. Great
I know it is. I know you love doing it. And I said when I found out that I was going to be doing pregame, you're the only one that I think I have enough good chemistry on the air with to be able to do this. There's no way I'd be able to do a 30-minute show with anybody else. But we're here. We're going to do this. We did it once last year. I think it went okay. A little bit of a different scenario now that the Flyers were still, bright-eyed and bushy-tailed at that point last season. Yeah. They still had the whole year in front of them. This year, a little bit of a different story, I think. But here's the thing. I got off the phone with my friend Mark DeRosa, the USA baseball coach, and he assured me the Flyers have already punched their tickets to the playoffs. So, did you follow that story?
No.
The USA baseball coach, the World Baseball Classic, thought they had already clinched a spot, and turns out they didn't. So they rested Harper and some of the other players yesterday, lost. So now they need some help in the tiebreaker situation just to make it.
Oh, that's brutal. No, I did not see that. I've been in a hockey bubble since the week leading the trade deadline.
Yeah. So I can't even track that Italy Mexico game because I got to worry about Penn State playing against Minnesota in the Big Ten tournament today. They're fighting for their tournament lives as well. But alas, the Flyers taking on the Washington Capitals. The trade deadline has come and gone. And Bill, the one thing that you did say to me before we went on the air, interesting, a number of scouts from different teams post-trade deadline here. Why do you think that is?
Yeah, there's at least scouts from about 8 to 10 different teams here tonight. And you don't typically see that after the trade deadline. Usually the scouts take a little break. And the scouts that do come either live in the area or it's a team you're playing upcoming. So they're doing some pre-scouting. There's possibly a piece of this is their team's maybe getting a jump on their off season. Somebody they were looking at the trade deadline, whether it's Ristolainen, whether I don't know who, right? But it's notable that it's back-to-back games. There have been a lot of scouts for the Rangers game and this game too. So it'll be interesting going forward to see over the rest of the games here if that trend continues. And, we won't know until after the season what might come of it. But it was notable because it was an unusually high number.
Okay. So, speaking of trades, I would say if you want to go back to a couple months ago when that whole Quinn Hughes thing was happening and we were discussing possible trades, one of the topics of discussion was who's untouchable or who is movable. And I think a huge, divisive figure in that was Michkov. And so less than stellar, sophomore slump that he's having this season. Yeah. But I think that the one thing that we did say was that if the Olympic break comes and goes and he comes out looking better, then I think people will, kind of ease up on the panic button. He hasn't been fantastic, but I think better. 3 goals and 1 assist in those 7 games since the Olympic break.
Yes.
Do you attribute that to, if the Olympic break didn't happen, do you think that he'd be playing better still, or do you attribute it to the fact that he had that time off?
The time off helped him in terms of the amount of did a pretty fair amount of skating towards the end, right? And also working out. So some of the off-ice stuff. So I think that was good for him. He campaigned. Not campaign might not be the right word, but made very clear he wanted the opportunity to go back to play right wing. He has that opportunity right now. Now, what that plays into, we'll see. And I don't think we have to really go into again why the move was made to put him on the left side. There are reasons to put him on the left side, but I do think ultimately it comes down to this: if he's that big a part of your future, and there's no reason to believe that he won't be, and he's more comfortable on the right side, well, give him a chance to prove that, right? There's that opportunity right now, and he scored a goal last game. He also had a pretty bad defensive brain lock last game too. So, there's give and take, but definitely I think having a strong finish and taking that into a strong off season, that's critical for him. And so far, I think he has played better. Certainly he's played with more energy. Seems to be moving around a little bit better. So that's a potentially positive sign, but we'll see over the remaining games. Really, I think until the Flyers are mathematically eliminated, it's an important time for players to step forward and show what they have. Once you're eliminated, to me, those are like glorified exhibition games for the team at that point. It's like September baseball for a team out of the pennant race.
Yeah.
I don't think there's very much useful you can take from any of that. It's like a couple good preseason games. So,
do you subscribe to the belief that it actually makes a difference what side of the ice he's playing on? Because Anthony doesn't seem to believe in it. He thinks it's a myth.
Well, if you look at the points per game, he played the right side I think it was the first 14 to 16 games this year, then switched to the left, and the points per game difference was really not different at all. It's very, very slightly higher on the right, but also even when he's playing on the left, once he's in the offensive zone, he has, I wouldn't say total free reign. It depends on what play there is to make, but how many times, some of his nicer plays this year were plays where he's on the left, he swung around behind the net, and he made a play on the right side. On the power play, it's more about which unit he's on. How much is he getting a minute? Is he getting 30 seconds? Right? Because when he's on the power play, he's playing on the right side to begin with, and that hasn't changed all year. He's played on the right all along. So, I think there is a little difference between playing the right and the left offensively, just for how you're positioned towards the net, where your stick is. It's sometimes an easier shooting angle from the right side, and he has a comfort level there. So, in his mind, it makes a difference, and sometimes psychologically, that it can mean more than how you might want to slice and dice some numbers. So, I'm interested to see how that works out over the rest of this year. Ultimately, though, there are people that they'll say, "Oh, his brain is just a hockey supercomputer." Well, if his brain's a hockey supercomputer, he can figure out how to play the left side.
And it seems like a fair assessment. Jay Grebby with a question for you. A little bit of a mouthful here, but he says, what two wingers out of Barkey, Bump, Martone, Michkov, Forster, Konechny, Tippett, and Zegras do you think are moved in the offseason?
So, as much as the Flyers like Tippett,
he was the first one that I thought is probably going to be moved.
Because after July 1st, a no-trade clause kicks in. Until July 1st, you can trade him anywhere. So I think if they're going to pull the trigger, that might be a guy who gets moved even before the draft. And mind you, you don't find many guys with a combination of size and speed,
right?
that Tippett brings. That in combo, you won't find many guys. And he can create his own scoring chances sometimes too. But he's still streaky, right? Like, he'll still have stretches where he has 6 goals in 8 games, whatever it is, and he'll go 15 with 1.
Right.
And he still does that.
And I feel like it's been that way his entire tenure.
Yeah. And he's 27 years old now, and so he's in the thick of his prime. Could he still continue to get better? Is there that other level to him? I'd like to see it consistently, but if you're going to make a move, that's a guy who other teams like. They see his skill set. That's the number one guy I could see moved by July.
Yeah. So another guy that you talked about earlier today was Konechny. His first game back was Monday. He had the 3-game absence because of the injury. He's back in the lineup. I think another thing that you wrote, a really prime opportunity for him to make a huge impact today is the fact that you mentioned Flyers penalty kill, albeit not great against the Rangers. Overall, since the break, has actually been pretty good. And you said the Capitals just gave up like 2 shorthanded goals in the same game. Konechny, 11 shorthanded goals in his career. I think he had 6 at one point, 6 in one season at one point. I think if you can get that out of him, that could be a huge difference in this game. You think they can exploit it that way?
No question. TK, as you say, had a good run on the penalty kill. The Flyers have even, since the break, have had a couple shorthanded chances. They just haven't scored one. That would be a huge thing for the team. Just take a little bit of pressure off. They're having trouble creating. Before this year, they were actually a pretty good team off the rush. If you look at the number of odd man rush goals, transition goals, the Flyers are actually previous year or two before, they were actually ranked fairly high in that. This year they have not. This year they kind of lost that. And when you're not creating off the rush and you're not creating off of grinding out chances off the walls and down low, how are you creating offense? Your only other hope is kind of to get a point shot on the net and get a deflection, get a rebound, get something like that. And they don't get many point shots through. So that severely limits. I can't think of too many more ways to create offense. So something like a shorthanded goal might open things up for you if they could get one.
Yeah. All right, so we'll switch to the goaltending aspect of this team. I made the analogy to Anthony on Monday. That 2016 Flyers team that went on that crazy run just to get into the playoffs. Yep. Steve Mason started 17 of the Flyers' last 19 games, including at one point he started 12 in a row. It seemed like the Flyers were going to keep that same mentality or that same philosophy with Vladar going forward. He ended up starting 9 out of 10. And then that game Monday, he just got shelled and lit up for 6. So Urson gets the start tonight. Do you think that maybe Vladar just doesn't have that kind of gas or that kind of energy to start that many games?
Well, he never has, right? I mean, he's already played his career high in games. So they forced him. They forced him to take a day off on Sunday in the team practice. It was hide the skates kind of thing. Vladdy, you're not practicing today. So when he got shelled on Monday, but he's played a lot of minutes. It was really kind of the first game in a while where I thought he was a little tired out there, a little slow reacting on plays. So a night off, more than in order. Thing is, they also have some back-to-backs coming up too, so they're going to have to start Urson some of those. It's been a while since Urson got a full game in, so tonight's the night to do it.
I posed the question to Anthony post-game Monday. I'll pose the same question to you.
Okay.
What's the % chance that Kolosov is back up at some point this season?
Well, given Urson's propensity to get injured, I would say 35%.
That's a lot higher than Anthony had. I can't remember where Ann had it, but it was definitely lower than that. I think there's a chance that he plays again.
Yeah, if you have an injury, he comes back up, and they have back-to-back. So just given the fact that Urs seems to get hurt a pretty fair amount and get hurt right before the break too, you're always kind of crossing your fingers that you have 2 healthy goalies. And goalie injuries this year, including with the Flyers, have been kind of rampant. So just on the injury possibility, I think there's a not totally small chance.
Right. So, obviously a lot of people wanted Ristolainen moved. Didn't happen. The one, I would say, significant move that the Flyers made was trading Bobby Brink to the Wild for David Jiricek. We talked about it on Monday. The Russ and Ant trolling me tweeted out the picture of them in front of the Bobby Brink banner, like in the concourse.
Yeah, yes.
I want to say to somebody at the Flyers, what do you do with that old banner? Because don't throw it away. I'll take it home with me and hang it in my basement. That would be. I would take it off your hands. I don't know if they still have it somewhere.
Not sure. Yeah. Sure.
So the beginning of the season, that line that was really, really doing well together was Forster, Brink, and Cates.
Right. And
then Tyson Forster unfortunately takes that the injury that's going to keep him out for the rest of the season. Butterfly effect here, Bill. Let me ask you this question: if Tyson Forster doesn't get injured and that line continues to hum together, is Bobby Brink still here today? Do you think?
Well, it's still in the same situation where they're overloaded with wingers on the right, especially on the right side. I mean, there were rumors last summer that Brink might be available. Brink is a nice little player, and Minnesota, I think he'll help Minnesota to score his first goal for them.
Oh, did he? I didn't even know that.
Yeah. So, he can play in a good team's third line, and it's a good spot for him. The thing with Brink is that even though he was a great collegiate player, good in World Juniors, etc., hard worker, he's found a role in the NHL. He's improved a lot defensively. The things that always work against him are his lack of size and his lack of speed. So he has to compensate with his smarts, and he does to a large extent. but still, I think it kind of limits what his ceiling is. So would he still be here? He might, but I still don't think he was going to be part of the long-term plan here.
Okay. So you mentioned that the overload that they have of wingers on this team, and especially at the end of the college season, presumably Martone will be here too, taking up one of those spots. I saw that they tried Zegras at center on Monday. I haven't seen the lineup card yet today. Are they trying it again tonight?
No,
they're not. Okay. Are you holding out any hope that he ends up becoming like a legitimate center on this team going forward?
Well, biggest thing with him is he has to add a little bit more physical strength. Besides the face-off part, because you could always have, Dvorak, whoever take left circle face-off. But I think that he would have to add significant strength to be at least be a top line center. I think he's actually become more comfortable in the wing. That's been something that's developed over the course of this year. He'll go over the middle a little bit. The answer to your question is, will he become a true bona fide full-time center? I don't think so. I think he's going to stay a hybrid guy. Sometimes he'll play in the middle.
Okay.
He'll line up and wing, and he'll create plays over the middle. But right now, I don't see him as a full-time center.
One of the other things that you wrote about, though, speaking of centers, is the Flyers not really having much of a net front presence. There's been a lot of one-and-dones in the offensive zone. I've mentioned this guy before on the show, and it's a prospect that I think that not a lot of people, Flyers prospect that not a lot of people are talking about. And in terms of like the size that he has, a little bit taller than Simmons, and he's a little bit heavier than Simmons was, I think Jack Berglund could be that guy as the net front. Do you see like him? Especially on a power play where you don't really have the raw skill that like a Colorado or a Tampa does, you can just move the puck all around. Sometimes it's just get the puck on net and you have a guy right in front of the goalie and try to bat in a few rebounds. Is there hope that he can be that kind of guy for the Flyers?
He'll go there. If you watch him play, watch him in the World Juniors, he doesn't mind getting his nose dirty, going to those areas of the ice. Surely in terms of his hands and whatnot, I think he's more, if he's going to be in the power play, more of a PP2 guy. But he potentially could, and I see him as being, as he develops, and this changes as a player progresses, right? But right now I see him as a third line center PP2 guy.
Okay. What else do I have here? Okay. So this was the other interesting stat that Anthony. I don't think he said it on the air. He said it off the air though, and it was you have to determine where you want to go if you're the Flyers. Obviously, that question's been asked and answered now that we're post deadline. But at the time, it was: do they hold on to some of these pieces and try to make that playoff run, or do they do what I think a lot of people in our comments want them to do, and that's just go full tank? I don't think that they're going to get to that spot. But I'd also say that the Islanders kind of had a miracle by getting Matthew Schaefer. Is there a chance the Flyers get a miracle and somehow wind up with Gavin McKenna? It's unlikely, but I suppose it's possible.
Yeah, if you get the first pick in this draft, I do think you still have to go with McKenna, even though he's another winger. This is not a great draft for centers this year.
Who's the Swedish guy? Stenberg?
Stenberg, yeah.
What's he?
He's a center.
He's a center. Okay.
Yeah, he's a very good player. But if you have the first pick, you have a decision to make. I mean, you could move up, of course, to maybe as high as the 2 spot and see how that goes. Last year there were more centers available than there are this year who are more high-end guys. And of course, the Flyers ended up going with Martone, a winger, last year. And it's looking like that's going to be a good pick.
He's been killing it for Michigan State.
He has. And he brings a lot of things to the table where I think he's going to be a legitimate first-line player in the NHL. So, but that didn't solve the center thing. I mean, when you talk about centers in the system, that is Berglund, there's Luchenko, right? There's Nesbitt, who's a few years away still. There's Ruonen, the Finnish kid who looked good in the World Juniors. I don't think any of them are first line centers, unfortunately. So they're still looking for that, and I don't know if you have a first pair D in the system. I see somebody else saying also, move Cates this summer. I don't think they're moving Cates, but I do think they move Andre this summer. What that'll bring in, I don't know, but he might be a piece of a trade package.
Well, I think like Murchison eventually will be an everyday player here. I think that's the goal.
As a defensive D, kind of a sealer type of defenseman.
Plus, the guy that they got for Brink, Juracek, I think will be here.
And apparently he's not waiver exempt next year, so they're not going to have a choice either. Keep him in the NHL or waive him. Hope he clears. And the thing is, right now he might even clear because he's had a rough year, man. Rough year.
I don't. Yeah, it's certainly not a coincidence that the Flyers are his third organization in the last 4 years. Usually, a guy that was drafted 6th overall is not getting traded from Columbus to Minnesota and then from Minnesota to Philly. So maybe some red flags with that. So Robski, thank you for the super chat. Appreciate that one. Between free agency, drafts, trades, honestly, can Briere address all of this team's woes in one offseason? I say no. So are we stuck in the mushy middle? I mean, I would say just because he's not going to address everything all at once in one offseason doesn't mean that they're necessarily stuck. But they have to, I would say, check at least 1 or 2 boxes in the offseason.
Sure.
I talked about it with Anthony a little bit, maybe extending Vladar for a couple of years, which would then get you to eventually 3 years in the future when Bjarnason's finally ready.
If he's ready, yeah.
That would be helpful.
Yeah, or
So what do you think if there's one, quote-unquote box that they can check off in this offseason, whether it be in the draft or with the trade or in free agency, what is it do you think the Flyers will do?
I think they're gonna try to address center. Of course, they've been trying to address center. Like you kept, not necessarily with the Flyers, you kept hearing Robert Thomas's name bandied about, and you saw the trade price for it.
Yeah,
and it's like, whoa, you're not trading for Connor McDavid here. What kind of trade price is that? That's just you blow us away with an offer we can't possibly refuse.
Robert Thomas, a 26-year-old guy, so still pretty young. I looked at his career numbers, though; they're not really that much better than Konecny's. I don't know that he's that much better of a player than TK is.
No, but a center versus a
okay, all right, yeah, that's fine. Okay, Nick Obey Thomas is a 1-save. Well, all right, whatever. Anyways, the other thing that when we started down this road is I wanted to bring up that Anthony, or as some people call him, Shilthany, tries to shill for the organization. Actually brought up a pretty interesting stat to me off the air during the game on Monday. If you go back the last 10 years, there's only been one team that's ever had a top 5 pick that wound up going on to win the Stanley Cup. And it was Colorado a few years ago when they got McCarr.
Right.
So I understand why he thinks that you don't necessarily need to absolutely tank and blow it all up just to get your shot at a Stanley Cup. There's that. But then there's also the stat that Bundy always brings up, which is another good point, and it's if you look at the last 10 Stanley Cup winners, they have at least one guy on that team that was a top 1 or 2 pick. So you figure like Florida had Ekblad the last 2 years, Colorado with McKinnon and McDavid, those Tampa, Vegas with Eichel, Tampa with Stamkos, et cetera, et cetera.
Well, but there's those teams that won those cups, right? What did most of them also have in common? They had some later first-round picks or late-round picks or middle-round picks that suddenly became stars, right? The Braden Points of the world, Kucherov.
Yeah.
That was a huge reason why Tampa Bay became what they became. And Colorado had to go through the worst year in franchise history, and they had guts because. Remember, McCarr was a junior A defenseman headed towards college, and the history of drafting junior A guys, a lot of them don't become stars. A lot of them don't even become pros. So they took a guy with a high upside, but a guy taking that junior A to college route. There's a lot of risk that's involved in it. Well, that's a risk that paid off. You have to be bold, and with no guarantees, and sometimes that has to pay off for you. I mean. When the Flyers have gambled like that, it's kind of blown up in their faces. Like O'Brien. O'Brien was a guy who was a prep school guy, right? So,
So, the other pretty big elephant in the room that we haven't even addressed yet, switching sides here. The last thing that you wrote on your Toyota RAV4, 4 things to watch, this is potentially Alexander Ovechkin's last game in this building.
Yes.
You mentioned like Mika Zibanejad Monday that was his 52nd game against the Flyers. He has 50 points. Ovi even better, 83 points in 80 games here. So this will be his 81st.
Yeah, like 50, 51, 52 goals, something like that.
Yeah, 52 is what you wrote.
Yeah.
Do you think this is actually his last hurrah?
I do. I think this will be his last NHL season. I think he'll go back and play a year in the KHL.
Yeah, he did mention he wanted to play in Russia a little bit.
About going home for a year, but I do think it's his last year in the NHL. You can see the decline, right? I mean, he's still a threat, standing at the left dot, banging one-timers in the net, still a threat on the power play. But but he's not what he was. And there's a level of professional pride that's involved. So I think it's better than 50-50 that tonight is the last game.
Yeah, I'm tending to agree with you. The thing is, I think if you saw that quote that he had from the other day, the John Carlson trade, I think, actually really did a number on him.
Yeah.
Because now I think it's just him and Tom Wilson, the only two left from that Stanley Cup team, which is kind of interesting because it wasn't that long ago. I think it was, 8 years? I guess it was a little.
That's a long time at this point. Yeah, there's a lot of turnover.
But I did hear the theory that because he's a free agent after this year, so there's a non-zero chance maybe the Capitals just re-sign him in the offseason. I know that doesn't happen often, but it does happen sometimes.
Yeah.
If they do that, do you think maybe he comes back for one more year? Ovi, that is?
I still don't think so. Yeah. And maybe the Carlson thing in his mind kind of clinched it. But, no. I mean, he can still get you 20-something goals a year.
He's at 25 now.
Yeah, right. But, he can still get to 30. He's Ovi.
Yeah, of course.
But no, I mean, he's no longer the focal point there anymore. He attained the goal record. I think he's done everything he's wanted to do, except maybe win a second cup, which is not going to happen this year.
No, definitely not this year.
So, yeah.
Are you a little bit surprised that they decided to I know he's 36 years old, but the Capitals are still kind of in the thick of things. Are you surprised they moved Carlson?
Well, Carlson's another guy. I think he's been in a bit of decline. I mean, Chychrun's the guy who runs it off.
I didn't realize he'd had that many goals. He's got 22 goals for 23 goals for a defenseman. That's insane.
Yeah, no, he is for sure. And thrilled to see it because Dad Jeff is one of the alumni and a great guy, and Jeff's a great kid. Jake's a great kid. So happy to see it. Just not against you.
Yeah.
But he's the real deal.
The other thing that Anthony did suggest about Ovechkin, though, was maybe he would want to do it so he could have a season like Jeter where everybody knows that he's going to retire, so he can get his flowers on his, what do they call it, a retirement tour,
farewell tour.
The other theory that we talked about last year was maybe he tries to make a push for 1,000. I ran the numbers. He's only at 921 right now, which that would put him at least 2 years away from 1,000. Be interesting in theory.
Probably more like 3.
Yeah, maybe even then.
Yeah.
So that's why it's probably not going to happen. But I'm trying to think if there's any questions we want to get to because I don't really have much else.
I saw one asking to rank Danny's job as GM on a 1 to 10 scale.
Oh yeah, he's been asking that a lot. I didn't know if you wanted to answer it or not.
For sure. I'll say a solid 7. It's not higher because he still hasn't been able to address center, right? The jury's still out of some of the draft picks, but if you look at moves that he's made now, we all know what happened with Risto, right? But a year ago, Scott Lawton brings you a first-round pick
and Gabrankin,
right? The year before that, and they were in a playoff spot at that time. Remember, they traded Sean Walker and got a first-round pick out for a guy who's going to be a free agent that summer.
Yeah.
That's great value back, as a seller. So I think he gets credit for that. And the Zegras trade, I think he gets credit for that. He was patient. Was actually able to get a great price. All due respect to Ryan Poehling, who's a nice player, for a checking line, but they got Zegras for Ryan Poehling, right?
Yeah.
So those are all feather in the GM's cap. But there's also the There's the cap management piece, right? Some of the extensions signed, jury's out on those. So I can't go higher than the 7, the 8, 9, 10 range, but at least the 7.
What's up?
I don't hear anything. Yeah, I hear it now.
Good.
No, now I don't. Now I got the bad headphones tonight.
I think we have 2 bad headphones now.
Yeah, this isn't working. It keeps coming in and out. All right, it's better now. No, then it went out again. So, all right. No, just stay.
You're killing me.
It just keeps coming in and out, Andrew. So, all right, let's give it a shot. It's okay for now.
Okay.
But I think if you move it one little bit, it's going to do it again.
All right, I won't touch it. Do you have keys?
Yeah, hold on. Let me get them. Get my glasses here.
What a show we're running.
All right, keys to the game tonight. Washington Flyers. Better start. The Flyers did not have a good start the other night against the Rangers and ultimately paid for it with a 3-0 deficit at the end of the first period. The team needs to get the monkey off its back, find a way to score first, and take the play to the opposition from that point on. Number 2, attack the middle of the ice. The Flyers need to get their perimeter shots through, whether it's a defenseman taking a point shot or a forward zipping one from the outside to the front of the net. The Flyers need to attack the net diligently and search for rebounds and loose change after the shot. And third and final one, which is a big one tonight, special teams. The Flyers had a terrible night by way of special teams against the Rangers, especially on the PK. This time of year, you can win and equally lose games if your special teams are not up to par. The Flyers must do a better job on the penalty kill and generate more on the power play versus the Capitals tonight to have success.
Nicely done.
Those are the 3 keys to the game tonight.
All right. So we'll do the predictions here. I'll start. You guys know that the Capitals are my arch nemesis. I've hated them ever since I was a kid. I'll never be able to pick the Capitals in a game, so I'll go with the Flyers 4-3, a little high scoring.
Okay.
4-2 Washington.
You're going Caps tonight, huh? Yeah, it's 2 desperate teams. That being said, because the Flyers are going to Minnesota tomorrow night, where it's a tough game, I'm just going to lay it out there that they get the first leg of the back-to-back done. I think I said 3-2 Flyers.
Yes, you did.
Yeah.
And then Russ, all the way from New York, said 3-2 Flyers as well. And Anthony from the Sunshine State said 4-2 Flyers.
Wow.
Bill, thank you for helping me out pregame. I know you need time to get over to the press box for the beginning of this game. You're back for intermissions, right?
Back for intermission.
All right.
All right.
Looking
We'll
forward
see you
to
then.
it. Anthems are about to start. Thank you, everybody, for watching. I'll have the stat cast up, and then the stat of the night will be coming first for intermission. We will talk to you in just a little bit. We are back live in the Press Row Show, the number one rated pregame, intermission, postgame show this side of the Mississippi, south of the Atlantic Circle, north of the equator, west of Italy, and I mean, I guess juxtaposed with Monday, with how terrible that went, that period, I guess they didn't really look horrible. Again, I think it's just another case of the special team continues to be this team's Achilles heel. The Capitals score on the power play. Coincidentally, it was a right-hand shot with a single-digit number, but it wasn't Ovechkin. It was Ryan Leonard that scored there for Washington. What are you looking at?
Shots on goal.
Okay.
7-7.
It was 7-7, right?
Yeah.
So I thought a pretty even period for the most part. Again, like I just said, the special team's the difference again for the Flyers.
Yeah, I mean, that power play goal, the Flyers did a good job on their kill, and then all of a sudden, there's Bill. Leonard took the puck off the half boards and just walked in and took a shot and beat Urson. It wasn't as bad as last game's first period. The Flyers generated some opportunities and some chances, but they just weren't able to capitalize.
Yeah, I mean, the first period on Monday, I think we basically knew right away that it was over. And like I said, generating some chances. Tippett drew a penalty fairly earlier in that period that created a power play opportunity. That it probably should have been a penalty shot, though, right? They got that call right?
Yeah, they got that right.
Yeah.
It was just a holding call, yeah.
Bill, are those headphones okay?
So far, so good.
All right, good. What was your assessment of that period, Bill?
Not a bad first period. You just talked about the penalty, Tippett drew nice burst of speed. That's good. We were talking before the game what Tippett brings the team, that size and speed that he brings. Not a bad period, but if it hurts to give up yet another power play goal, that's really the difference so far. I mentioned to somebody else in the press box that other Washington power play, because I had my head down at the time, but Ovechkin missed a shot, and just by the sound it made up the boards, you knew it was Ovechkin who shot it.
Yeah. It's a good thing he missed the net because I don't know that Urson was going to get it.
No one was going to stop that.
I think Ovechkin hammered another one that hit Ristolainen, I think. Yeah. He blocked the shot. Yeah, that was a big shot by Ovechkin, the one-timer. Flyers' power play actually looked pretty good. They just couldn't get one past a goaltender.
Yeah, Thompson's he's a tough boy to beat, but the one guy that I was going to bring up that I actually think looks pretty good for the Flyers in this first period is Drysdale. I think Drysdale's getting a lot more confident with his puck handling abilities. He created a couple opportunities, even one on 5-on-5. I think it was Coots that was down low by the net. He found him and tried to get the tip-in goal. Like I said, didn't quite get it done, but Drysdale, I think, looks okay.
Also one where he pinched up on the play.
Yes.
He got blocked, but still, you would have seen him do a lot more of that.
Not an awful first period.
Not
the only
terrible.
thing they have is a deficit. They're down 1-0, but I thought the period itself wasn't too bad for the Flyers. I mean, much more engaged than the other night. I think they could do a little bit better job checking. Washington's throwing a lot of pucks back around the boards, around the net, and they're picking them up at the half board, so the Flyers have to seal those off a little bit better.
And I thought they also had a few too many foul clears. Washington held it at the point 3 or 4 times that period.
Yeah.
I will say, I would imagine Ristolainen's having a little bit of a tough time knowing that basically everybody, the entire fan base wanted him out of town, and the deadline didn't happen, and then that guy for Washington, Sandin, the defenseman, is apparently pretty nifty with the puck.
Yeah.
Risto looked like, I guess, was expecting Sandin to shoot it and crouch down and then just stuck his foot out a little bit too far and tripped him. That was a really tough penalty to take there for Risto. But
pretty tough, yeah. Sandin, former first-round pick by Toronto. I remember him with the Sioux Greyhounds. He is pretty clever.
Another guy that I thought stood out was Dvorak. I thought Dvorak looked pretty good.
He had good legs. He had good legs
so.
tonight. He looked like he's buzzing out there, carrying the mail up the ice a few times, making some good plays to the outside. I thought he had a good first period too.
And then, 2 games ago when the Flyers were in Pittsburgh, Alex Bunk, that was his first ever game, scores. Didn't really do much in the game on Monday. He took a bad high-sticking penalty, I remember.
Who's that, Andrew?
Alex Bump.
Alex Bump, yeah.
Bump only 4 minutes of ice time in that first period. Barkey even less. I think he only had like 2.5 minutes of ice time. I barely remember them even being out there. Do you think that's given how old they are, or given how young they are, I guess I should say that's appropriate amount of ice time for them to be getting? Or do you think they should be out there a little bit more?
I guess, but you're also shorthanded twice that period.
Yeah.
Bump's certainly not going to kill any penalties. Barkey a little bit, but so
Bump's not a killer at all, Bill.
Not at all. No. One thing that Bump brings, and you saw it, though wasn't much of a shot, was he is one guy who needs no encouragement to shoot the puck. That's something they desperately need, is a guy with a shoot-first mentality. But no, he's not a PK guy. I mean, Barkey will kill penalties for you.
Yeah.
I did say they played together on the power play, though, a little bit earlier in that game. I think Bub had a shot on net on that power play, too.
He
on
did.
the one-time.
He did.
Right? So, all right, so there's at least that. Look, there's some stuff to look forward to, I guess. Like I said, Monday was over basically immediately, so I think the Flyers actually, if they maintain that same kind of energy, I think they actually have a fighting chance. Just a matter of, are you able to get a couple past Logan Thompson, and does Urson just not let in a complete softie like sometimes he does?
Have to stay within one goal here. You fall behind 2, the way the Flyers are right now, I don't see them being able to come back from
just
it.
Having too much trouble scoring multiple goals.
Trouble.
Right?
Exactly.
Yeah, they've got themselves in a decent predicament, the Flyers. I mean, like I said, it wasn't a bad first period. I hated that goal because it should have been stopped, but it also shouldn't have been a shot out of it either. I mean, a guy just pulled it off the half boards, skated into the middle, and zipped one past Urson.
That's
Ryan Leonard.
We were talking also before the game about that Forster, what Forster brings and what they're lacking. Pulling the puck off the wall, cutting through the circle and firing a shot from near the hash marks. They don't have guys that do that very often. That's something that Forster's willing to do, and that's exactly how Leonard scored.
Yeah, he's a good player.
Very good player.
He's a really good hockey player, yeah.
Brian Knowlton with a comment here. Couldn't hear any on the broadcast. Any fire, I'm assuming that's a typo, any fire Tocchet chants, like Tony Escargo said. Somebody brought that up earlier in pregame.
No,
like,
I heard
not
fire
boo
or anything.
Come from the broadcast?
No, nothing.
Bundy, I was talking about it a little bit off the air with your buddy, and what you were saying in the pregame. Like, the amount of, like, disdain and vitriol that this fan base has for Rick Tocchet is, like, off of the charts.
Unless it's just really
crazy.
loud on X and on social media from a small few people that want to make it a big thing. But when we come to the games, we don't see that. I don't see anybody going after Rick Tocchet. I mean, Rick Tocchet, I don't think people realize the player that he was here. He was a phenomenal hockey player. He's been a great teammate to a lot of guys. So you think that would transcend into his coaching career. But, yeah, I mean, you go on Twitter or X, whatever you want to call it, and there are some haters. I don't understand it.
It's one of those things where you do have to continue to remind yourself that people online aren't necessarily indicative of what actual, like, people that are not online feel. It's not real life. Twitter's not real life. It's like a very, very funny Bill Burr joke I remember was that, like, most common sports fans are actually usually pretty intelligent, pretty with it. It's the idiots that call into the sports radio stations that are just that give all sports fans a little bit of a bad rep.
Yeah.
So I wanted to ask you this, Bundy, because I've been wondering this. As, not a secret that the Flyers do struggle on the power play a little bit.
A little bit, yeah.
I'm wondering if this is like ever a thing with teams that struggle on the power play. If you don't really have the skill to pass it around and create like open backdoor looks, even when there's no shooting lane, is there such a thing as saying like, you know what, I'm just going to wind up and fire this thing as hard as I can, and if a defenseman wants to block it, fine. But let's just try to wear down their penalty killers with high velocity shots. Is that a thing?
No. You'll get absolutely destroyed by your forwards. If you shoot a puck and it gets blocked by the defenseman on a power play, you won't be on the power play for very long.
Or it'll miss that, it'll rim out, then all of a sudden it's going the other way.
Right.
It's just not very smart.
When you're out there, you have got to be precise and hit the net and make sure that your shots get through. I think the Flyers were trying on that one power play they had to set it up. They were trying to generate the shot, but Washington set up in that diamond, and they just weren't able to get anything through.
Yeah, all right. Kate Goodman, 1986, pushing back on you a little bit. What does Tocchet as a player matter to him as being a coach?
Well, because he carries the same characteristics and traits with him that he had as a player. I mean, I played with Rick Tocchet. He was as good a teammate as I could have ever had. So as a head coach, he's going to transcend some of that character that he has as a player and install it as a coach. He's figuring stuff out. I mean, it's his first year behind the bench, but for the vitriol and the hate that some of the fans have put out against him is just ridiculous to me.
Well,
it's crazy.
When he was in Vancouver, what was his relationship like with Quinn Hughes? Hughes loved playing for him, right? Yeah. I got into it with somebody online. Because I was talking about players that he developed, and I mentioned Clayton Keller and said he ruined Keller. Well, first of all, he hasn't ruined him because Keller's a hell of a player. Yeah. But beyond that,
they say it more about Elias Pettersson.
But last time that Keller was in the building here, asked him the question, who were the coaches who helped you develop? And he said that Rick Tocchet helped me be an NHL player. He taught, I'm a much more complete player because of Tocchet. So it's not true that young guys, skilled guys who play for him don't like playing for him. It depends. It's all situational, right? So,
right.
I don't think you can paint everything with one brush.
All right, do you want stat of the night?
Yeah, let's go with stat of the night. Yeah, let's hear it.
One of the few bright spots of the game Monday was that Jamie Drysdale picked up his 20th assist. Coming into tonight, Drysdale and Sanheim both have 20 assists on the season. Yeah. Cam York right now is at 19. Should Cam York finally find his 20th assist, it'll be the first time that a Flyers team since the 11-12 season had 3 different defensemen with 20 or more assists.
Wow.
You got to go back to the 11-12. There was Matt Carl, Braden Coburn, and Kimmo
Timonen, yeah.
Yeah, those 3 guys. It's pretty wild to think about. It's been that long.
Yeah, it's been a while, yeah.
And then for Washington, obviously, I had to come with a couple of OV stats. 998 career goals for him if you combine regular season and playoffs.
Yep.
So obviously Gretzky, the only other one that's gotten to 1,000.
What is Gretzky? Do you have his numbers?
Yeah, I saw it.
You don't have to find it if you don't, but I think he's only a couple away from tying Gretzky, isn't he?
Yeah.
I read that somewhere the other day. I don't have the exact number on it though, but I know he's close to breaking the all-time goal-scoring record for meaningful games, regular season and playoffs.
There's that, and then if he should get the game winner tonight, he'll have sole possession of first. He'll pass Lemieux for most career game-winning goals if you combine regular season playoffs as well. There's that. So, Ovechkin's just he's a treat to watch. Bundy, we talked about it a little bit before you got here when you were during radio, and we were discussing, predicting if this truly is going to be his last season, thus his last game playing in Philadelphia. What do you think about that? Do you think he plays again or no?
He hasn't said he's going on a goodbye tour.
Right.
Nobody's Andrei Kopitar got, handshakes from the Boston Bruins last night because it was his last game. But Ovi hasn't said this is his last season, definitely, because you think he'd want somebody to have like a farewell tour for him, right, Phil?
Yeah.
Maybe he doesn't care about that.
I don't know.
What do you think he's going to do?
I do think more likely than not, this is his last season in the NHL. I think he'll play a year in the KHL.
Yeah.
And then,
sail off into the sunset.
And sail off into the sunset.
So he just wants to go back to Russia to play 1 year.
Play 1 year there, yeah.
Okay.
Well, how old do you think he'll be playing in Russia, though? Because here's the thing. I didn't realize that Yager's not in the Hall of Fame yet because he's technically still an active player.
Yeah.
Which is nuts.
Played a couple games
How
this
old
year.
is he?
54. He's my age.
He's what I was going to say.
Crazy.
And keep playing Yarmir because he's the only player my age that's still playing.
Yeah.
So, keep playing.
That's crazy. Yeah, that's a crazy stat.
He just keeps going, though. I'll give him that. But I don't know why he didn't announce this would be his last season, though. That's why I don't understand in the NHL.
That was Ant's theory, was that he thinks that he wants to have like a Derek Jeter type season where he has his retirement tour and he gets to say his goodbyes everywhere. I'm also wondering if it would leave a little bit of a bad taste in his mouth if he finished his career on a team that didn't make the playoffs.
Yeah, and he's headed that way right now.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, it might. I mean, it would definitely bother me. I mean, he's had an illustrious career, won a Stanley Cup in Washington, been the ultimate face of their franchise for eternity. I mean, he'll become still the face of their franchise even when he leaves. So, I mean, yeah, it'll be a tough loss. But I'm in agreement with Anthony. I think he's going to do another year and do a send-off tour. That's my guess. I mean, everybody's speculating his last game in every building happening this year, but there's been nothing said by him by it, so I don't know. And the other problem, too, though, is when you go on a goodbye tour like that, it takes away a lot from the team, too.
Yeah.
It's because the focus becomes totally on one player and not on the entire group.
Yeah, but they dealt with that last year, though, because they knew all of the Capitals teammates were acknowledging that it was all about him chasing Gretzky's record. And I thought they handled that pretty professionally as well.
They did.
Not?
Yeah, they did a good job of that.
And they made the second round of the playoffs last year, too.
They did.
Yeah, so
they did.
There's that. We only got a couple of minutes left. Bill, unless you have any parting thoughts, I'll let you get back to the press box so that.
What do you need to do better this period, Bill, the Flyers?
Well, I mean, I'd like to see them come out a little faster in the second period for first 3 or 4 shots for Washington. Now, if you're not dangerous shots necessarily, but just come out attacking and find some way to get this thing even, then it's anybody's game.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we'll see. Bill, thank you again for saving us.
Thanks, Bill.
Definitely needed your help. Good insight as always.
You don't have to worry about postgame. Just next intermission.
Yeah, the next.
Yeah, he told me that he's going downstairs for.
Yeah, we'll handle postgame together.
Yeah.
No problem. It'll be quick.
You
So
want to do 20 minutes?
yeah, it'll be a long time.
Especially tonight, not a 7 o'clock game, 7:30 game.
7:30. The difference between 7:30 and 7 o'clock for everybody who's involved for an NHL game day, you may as well start it at 10 o'clock instead of 7:30.
Why does TNT? Just because it's on TNT, why do they have to push it back a half hour?
Yeah, I don't know. It's just
What difference does it make?
just the way the scheduling goes, I guess.
I don't know. I guess. My trivia question, I think, is actually pretty interesting. So we'll have that for second intermission. Again, hopefully, like I said, the Flyers can maintain that energy that they had in the first period and maybe get a goal or two past Grover Thompson. But until then, Flyers coming back onto the ice, getting ready for the second period. We'll talk to you in just a little bit. Welcome back into the Press Row Show, the number one rated pregame, intermission, postgame show this side of Mississippi, south of the circle, north of the equator, west of Italy. That one was a lot more eventful.
Yeah,
a lot more eventful of a period.
Much
Flyers
better
get
period.
2 goals. First time they've had the lead in this building in forever. I think since the third period of the Boston game, February 28th. You got to figure the last 2 home games after that, they get blanked by the Mammoth 3-0.
And then
the unbelievable game Monday against New York where you lose 6-1. Or 6-2, I'm sorry. This is the most alive this building has been in weeks, and it's nice to see.
Great second period by the Flyers. TK started it off, tying the game with a nice short side shot. It actually, I think it hit the left skate of Thompson and bounced off, caromed off his right foot into the back of the net. But connecting went short side on that, and a really nice feed from Sanheim. Put it across the ice. Beautiful feed. That made it 1-1, and then Tippett and Zegras found like some loose change in the neutral zone, and they ended up coming down on what ended up being like a 2-on-0 with a trailer really close.
Right.
They went tic-tac-toe, tic-tac, boom, and Zegras finished it off. They get 2-1 Flyers at the end of the second period, and the Flyers are playing a much better defensive brand in this game tonight than we saw them play at any point against the Rangers the other night.
Well, that's the thing. The Capitals, I think, have 14 shots on net. The Flyers as a team, 13 blocked shots.
Yeah.
They're doing a really, really good job protecting Urson, I think. The only real scary moment, other than the one Capitals goal, was I think it was Trevor Van Riemsdyk that threaded the needle to Wilson that sprung him on the breakaway.
Yeah.
I'm sure everyone was holding their breath, but Urson, he stonewalled him. So a big save for Urson to keep it. I think at the time it was still 1-0 Washington. He kept it 1-0, and the Flyers, like you said, they scored with 2 goals. By the way, today's Konecny's 29th birthday.
Happy birthday to Travis Konecny. He got himself a goal.
Yeah, second time in his career that he scored a goal on his birthday.
Birthday goal.
Yeah. So I had my back turned at the very, very end of that period there. I missed it, so I don't know if you could fill me in here. What happened? As always, Tom Wilson right in the middle of everything. He got into it with Gurbankin.
He was pretty antsy at the end of the entire second period. He went after Ristolainen once. He absolutely leveled Konecny in the Flyers' offensive zone on one play.
That was going to be my next question.
And I don't know.
Hit?
Yeah, it was fine.
Okay.
Yeah, and then and at the end, I don't know what happened at the end. Just the scrum started when the clock went to 0, and the players all kind of colluded together and went in to stick up for one another. But I don't even know if there's any penalty calls at the end of that.
Yeah, I didn't think there was. I guess Bill forgot about us.
I don't know. Don't worry about it.
So I talked a little bit with Bill in pregame.
Oh, he's here.
I'll wait for him.
Go ahead. Keep talking.
I talked a little bit with Bill pregame about Owen Tippett, and that the thing that he said about Tippett was he's a rare blend of the size and speed.
Yes.
Tippett, as you mentioned, the speed has been on full display, I think, here tonight. So, like, he drew that penalty in the first period, like we said. That 2-on-0 with the guy draped all over his back, I think was very, very impressive that he was able to set up Zegras on that give and go with the 2-on-0.
Talking about Tippett?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's really dialed in right now.
Another couple opportunities Tippett has in the offensive zone. He looks sharp tonight. He's flying.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. And he's been using his speed great tonight. I have to tell you that when he first made that extra return pass, oh boy, there's a lot of times they make that extra pass and it goes awry, but it worked tonight. Yeah, he's flying out there.
They didn't call any penalties at the end of the period there, Bill, did they?
I did not see it in the score sheet. I refreshed it actually before I came over here to check.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, I didn't. Yeah, I didn't think so. The other thing is, I think, Zegras obviously being the shootout specialist that he is. There was that lull in the middle of the season where I think he would missed 2 or 3 in a row in the shootout. He also had that one penalty shot where he got stopped on. I think that's when he kind of started to quiet down this season.
Yeah.
Now the past couple of shootouts that they've had, he scored. I think he got a couple game winners in the shootout also. And now that goal, he just looks like he has his swagger back now, finally.
Oh, the one penalty shot he had. Remember, he had a shootout attempt after that, and he did score. It was against Binnington, I think.
Yeah, I think he's been the best Flyer forward for about 5 games in a row now.
He has.
Tippett. Yeah, he's really skating well, and he's moving his feet. When he's doing those kind of things, he executes well. But It's a matter of him getting that speed and then taking that puck to the net, which I think he's learning to do a better job of.
Oh, for sure. He's doing a lot more consistent. He's being a little bit more physical too.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, he got a hit there. It was the other guy that he ticked off. Was Owen Tippett was the guy that Wilson wasn't happy with either. Wilson was a little ornery that period. He went after Ristolainen and he got really ticked off at Tippett, and then I guess at the end was it Couturier that ran somebody or somebody hit somebody by the bench?
He grew banking, and then Couturier responded to it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, Nick, I did actually. I did have the Penn State game on my iPad here. They won, thank God. So they're probably going to get into the NCAA tournament. They were.
Are they a bubble team?
They were choking at the end of the year. They went like 40 days or something without beating someone other than Ohio State. Notre Dame swept them, and Wisconsin swept them at home. It was scary, but they beat Minnesota today, so I think they're going to be in. And by the way, have you been following any of the WBC at all, or no?
Yeah, it looks like the USA is going to get in, right?
It's all because that's why I said we're west of Italy. Shout out to Italy. They did us a big favor. Our Philadelphia's own Aaron Nola coming up huge.
Could you imagine if they'd have lost and not qualified for the round robin round, the championship round?
I talked about it right at the beginning. Bill didn't know this story, but the DeRosa quote that he didn't know that the United States hadn't clinched yet is outrageous.
It's outrageous. That was their manager?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Remember Mark DeRosa?
Yeah.
Oh, my God. That was almost...
unbelievable.
Yeah, I know he does, Amadeo. I know he does. I was going to say something else, but I can't remember what it was. I don't know. Do you want to do trivia?
Yeah, let's do trivia of the night. Yeah.
All right. So, again, I got to make it about the one and only Alexander Ovechkin. Coming into today, he has the NHL record. He has scored on 188 goalies in his career. The next closest is Yager with 178. So he's got
for what?
That's how many different goalies he scored.
Oh, okay, 188. Yep.
So, can you name the 4 that he has scored on 20 or more times?
Wow, it's a good one. It's got to be division. I'm going to say Henrik Lundqvist.
He's second. He scored on him 24 times.
I would say Marc-Andre Fleury.
It's number 1, number 28 or 28 times.
The
next 2 are a little bit tougher. You got to rack the brains.
No Flyer goalie in there?
No.
I was going to say Steve Mason, but no. It's going to be an Islander goalie.
No.
It's not.
Not the Islanders.
But we got the Rangers, and we got who was the other one you just said?
You said Fleury. Pittsburgh.
Fleury.
This one's a guess. Sergei Bobrovsky.
No. Bobrovsky, he scored on in double digits, but not quite 20.
Okay.
It's got to be a division team. I'm going to say it's a Carolina goalie.
Cam Ward, he scored on 19 times.
19 times on Cam Ward.
Didn't quite make it.
Yeah.
So you're still missing 2.
Eastern Conference?
Yes. Both.
It'd have to be, yeah. How about, no, it wouldn't have been Carey Price.
Carey Price is correct.
Really?
22 times he scored on Carey Price.
Wow.
Yeah.
Another Eastern goalie.
And let's think about New Jersey then. The New Jersey goalie is my last guess. It's got to be Jersey.
No.
It's not.
No.
Just trying to put him up against, maybe it's another goalie on the same team we already named.
No.
No, it's not 2 goalies in the same team. No.
It's tricky because you got to think what the old Southeast Division looked like when Ovi first started.
It was in Atlanta.
Yes.
Okay.
Atlanta became Winnipeg.
So that had to be somebody playing for a long time.
Who would have been the goalie in Atlanta that he beat 20 plus times? I can't even name an Atlanta goalie.
Yeah.
I surrender.
Probably neither could the people of Atlanta. So after playing for the Thrashers, he actually played a pretty good amount of time with the Dallas Stars. And apparently Ovi just picked on him even when he was in the Western Conference too.
No idea.
Does the name the Hamburglar mean anything to you?
Oh, Andrew Hammond.
No. I guess there's 2 Hamburgers, but not Andrew Hammond.
Well, the only Hamburglar I knew was Andrew Hammond. Yeah. That was his nickname, the Hamburglar.
I know, but this other guy had the nickname first because he said...
I never heard of another Hamburglar.
When he came over from Finland, all he ate was McDonald's when he first got to the United States.
Oh, Kari Lettinen.
Kari Lettinen is
correct. Wow.
You never knew he was the Hamburglar?
No.
Yeah.
Sure you didn't just make that up?
No, read his Wikipedia page. I'm telling you.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's a good trivia tonight.
That
was really tough.
Never would have guessed Lettinen.
I actually didn't even know Lettinen played for the Thrashers. I only ever knew him as a star.
Yeah, he was second overall pick or whatever, but he was
big
drafted,
guy, right?
Yeah, big goalie.
Remember,
he went a long time without ever being the Flyers, like a long run. Never beat the Flyers.
Some of the other names, Ryan Miller, he scored
what
on
about
19
Luongo?
times.
Someone just mentioned Luongo because he played in Florida, but I know he's in Vancouver too. But
Andre Pavlik, 18. Let me see if I can find it. Bobrovsky, 16. The problem is these are not in like alphabetical order. They're in like order of what like when he scored. So what year would have been the first year that he scored on Luongo?
06 would have been his first year. 05, 06. They're doing them in order, but they're just not.
I don't know. I can't find him. Maybe he never did. I don't know. I'll keep looking for it, though. Is there anything else that you guys wanted to get to about that period? I think we covered.
No, that was good. I mean, we got 5:40 here to go until they drop the puck. But
nice birthday present for Konechny.
Yeah, nice goal.
Yeah.
Nice goal by him. He had a good second period. I think Dvorak's had a really nice game tonight.
Yeah,
he's played very well so far. Sure. I thought the defense have done a good job of keeping a lot to the perimeter, which was one of our keys to the game tonight. Keep a lot of the traffic out of the middle. They need to clamp down this period. I mean, this is going to be an important period for the team. Heading out in the back-to-back tomorrow to Minnesota, you want to get the first win.
Yeah,
but you're going to have to earn it this period. You're going to have to go out. You're going to have to play a good brand of hockey if you want to get out of here with a win in regulation.
Buddy, this is an interesting, not really a question, but a point from Ogie here. I'm curious if you agree with him. Saying Tom Wilson would not survive in earlier eras.
Yeah, he would have.
Big boy.
He would have been just fine.
What a trash can, Tom Wilson. Me and my friend used to just love just dumping on him because of the cheap shot artist that he was. He still is.
No question, but you take him in your team.
Yeah, he's like a Marchand type. Where he just annoys the crap out of you when you're playing against him, but everyone would love him if he was your teammate. Someone's saying that Luongo had 20. If I screwed up that trivia question, I apologize. Someone's saying that he got 20 on Luongo also. I'm just not seeing it.
I didn't see Luongo's name all on that list.
That's what I'm saying.
You tell me he never scored a goal on Luongo?
That doesn't make any sense.
Of course he did.
Maybe. I don't know. I'm running out of juice here. What else was there?
I'm trying to think of the goalie. I'll think of him as soon as we're done. Played forever till somewhat recently.
Who's that, Bill?
He was in Montreal. Same time Carey Price was. He was their other goalie, actually. Flyers beat him.
Yaroslav Halak.
Thank you, Halak.
Yeah.
I'm sure he had a bunch against Halak.
A couple other people saying Andre Pavlik. I think he scored like 18 on Pavlik. Pavlik was the one Thrashers goalie I think I could name. And then he ended up going with the team to Winnipeg. Yeah, there's that. Marchand Bennett Wilson would be a line. That'd be the all-time scumbag line.
Yeah, that'd be a line.
That would definitely be a line.
Wasn't that an Olympic line almost? I mean, those guys were all on the Olympic team. When you think about it.
No, Bennett didn't make the team, did he?
Yeah, he did.
Yes, he did.
He was a fill-in.
Oh, okay. All right. So we only have 3 minutes left here. Bundy, as per tradition, how important are the first 5 minutes of the
Well, they're important because the Flyers have played a good second period to get themselves a lead. And they did put a lot of good work in to earn the 2-1 lead after the second. So they need to make sure they're getting pucks in deep. Don't turn anything over in the middle and protect the house, which means you're in front of your own net. Clear out a lot of stuff right there. But Washington, I would assume they're going to come pretty hard here at the beginning of this period to try to get back in it. The Flyers have this game. They have this game right now. The way they're playing, they have to continue playing like they did in the second period.
Do you think this Washington team is still bought in this season, thinking that they can make a run at the playoffs?
Well, yeah, I do. But this is a huge game. If they lose this one regulation, then we're gonna have a whole other conversation. But I mean, right now they're still on the cusp. There's enough guys there that, you know, coming off a good year last year. I think they think they're still in it, but you know they're still battling uphill. So
yeah, they have an uphill battle. I think it's going to be tough for them. They've lost 3 in a row on the road.
Yeah.
Coming into this one, I mean, right now they're sitting on a possible 4th loss in a row on the road. I think they're going to have a hard time making it. I really do.
How about this? More likely to get the second wild card spot: Boston, Columbus, or Washington.
Columbus is really coming on strong right now.
Yeah, Columbus is right there, and we'll see how Pittsburgh makes out with that nasty schedule they have left. They have a brutal schedule. They seem to keep their head above water. I mean, they played in Carolina, won last night, right?
Yeah.
They beat Carolina. I mean, that was a huge win for Pittsburgh to pick up 2 points like that on the road.
All right. Well, players are coming back out on the ice in just a second here. Bill, you're a legend. Thank you so much. I know you. We're not going to have you for postgame because you're going downstairs.
We got postgame, yeah. No problem.
So it'll just be me and Bundy for postgame here. Hopefully, wrapping up a Flyers victory because we could certainly use one. It's been a while here at home. But thank you everybody for watching. Third period coming up in just a second. And as soon as I find the outro music, I'll take it. Oh, here it is. All right. Talk to you in a little bit. win. What a win. It's always a great day in America when the Flyers beat the Washington Capitals. This is the Press Row Show, the number one rated pregame intermission postgame. Okay. That was a great team effort.
Yeah.
Great team effort. And you said it. The Capitals were going to come with everything that they had in the third period.
Yeah,
they did. And they probably ended up with probably close to 10 shots in the third period.
Yeah, they had a good push in the third. Urson made some good saves, a couple good saves. Washington they got too chasing behind the game, and then they were forced to play kind of a game that they don't want to play, and the Flyers forced them into that. They were really, really pressing at the end, and they still couldn't get anything by Urson. They had the first goal of the game to make it 1-0, and the Flyers had a great second period. Took was it a 2-1 lead in the second, or did they have 3 at the end of 2? I can't even remember.
No, it was 2 because Drysdale and Tippett scored.
Oh, that's right. Drysdale scored in the third to make it 3-1, and then the Owen Tippett empty net goal made it 4-1. So, no, really solid win coming off a terrible loss the other night against the Rangers. Flyers put it together tonight. They got good goaltending when they needed it to. Urson was really good.
It's the best he's looked in a while.
Yeah, it was maybe the best game he's played all year.
It might be.
He made some really key stops in this game, and it was a really good victory and a first night of a back-to-back. To get the 2 points here and give Washington nothing in regulation, which was great.
Yes, absolutely. And then, like I said, the two guys that scored in the third period, Drysdale and Tippett, I think maybe had the 2 best games for the Flyers, maybe other than Urson today. They were 2 guys that we talked about a bunch in the first couple of intermissions. They deserved goals, and they got them. I know Tippett's was empty netter, but still.
Yeah, but he played well the whole game. Like he was sniffing around it. Drysdale with a good goal. He had another really good game tonight. I thought he moved the puck really well out of his zone. Didn't put the puck in any bad areas where he got himself in trouble. And Tippett, now I think like 5-6 games in a row, he's been the best Flyer player on the ice.
The funny thing is, we make fun of Jackie from time to time because the infamous 3 stars thing.
Yes,
I will say picking the 3 stars for this game might actually be kind of difficult. When I tell you this, 10 different Flyers had a point tonight. You believe that?
Urson's one of them.
Yeah.
And then you could pick 2 more Flyers after that.
So Tippett's and Cates were the only 2 guys that had multiple points. Tippett was 1 goal, 1 assist. Cates was 2 assists. But I'll say this. Let's see. Bump, Cates, Dvorak, Rundstrom, TK, Tippett, Zegras, Drysdale, Sanheim, York, all with at least 1 point. It was a total great team effort.
It was.
Like it's a solid Capitals team. They got a lot of talent.
Well, the Capitals are a good team, and they're also battling for their lives.
Right.
So they're like the Flyers. I mean, they had a little bit. They were ahead of them, I think, by a couple points in the standings, but it's a devastating loss for Washington. They've lost 4 in a row on the road now, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
And they just don't have their mojo. And I often wonder tonight, I was wondering a little bit tonight too, how much the loss of John Carlson is going to affect that locker room. That's a huge loss for a guy who's been there 17 years and then gets traded overnight.
Right, yeah.
So that could leave a little bit of a stain on that locker room a little bit. It's a tough trade to absorb if you're the Washington Capitals. But I don't think they looked like they were in sync at all tonight. I thought the Flyers played a much better game and outplayed Washington tonight and deservedly got the 2 points.
I talked about it a little bit with Meltzer pregame. Like the just hearing what Ovechkin had to say after that trade was made. Like I think you're right. I think it did a number on them.
Yeah, I mean that's a really strange trade to make. When you don't see that coming, you got a team that's battling for the playoff spot. He's been your key cog defenseman. I mean, the best defenseman in the history of the franchise, and they move him to Anaheim.
It makes a lot of sense for the Ducks, given how young that Ducks team is. If they're going to go into the playoffs, it would be nice to have some veteran leadership like him, a guy that's won a Stanley Cup already, in Carlson.
Yeah.
Maybe mentor a guy like Jackson Lacombe there. I think it definitely made sense for Anaheim. And then I also speculated the possibility if maybe they just re-signed him in the offseason, Washington. I don't know if that'll happen or not.
Yeah, I'm not sure that's going to. I don't think that's going to happen. I think they've turned the page and they're moving on to a younger group from here on in. Carlson played as long as he could possibly play with one team.
Yeah,
for a guy of his stature. Yeah, so I mean, it's it's a long journey for him, but I don't think that they're going to be doing that. I don't think, Andrew.
Well, speaking of younger Capitals defensemen, worth noting, I think one of their better players, 20 goal scorer this year for the Capitals, Jacob Chikrin.
Yeah.
He's a plus 17 on the year. He was a -3 tonight.
He had a rough night tonight. I was just going to say it before he even said -3. He had a terrible night tonight. He's a really solid player. He did not have a good game tonight. Fumbled the puck many times, a couple turnovers in the offensive zone. Not his best night for sure. And that's kind of when you trade Carlson, you need other guys to pick up the slack, you know, offensively and puck moving. And he is a really good hockey player. Don't get me wrong, but he did not have a good night tonight.
He's like I said, obviously he's a 20-goal scorer, which as a defenseman is very, very impressive. Is he known as a defensively sound defenseman as well?
He's an all-around defenseman.
Yeah,
he's known as good defensively and offensively. He's and he gets paid pretty handsomely. I think he makes $9 million a year. On an 8-year deal. Yeah. So I mean, he gets paid to be a pretty rounded hockey player for anybody that he play for, and that's the Washington Capitals.
Here's this comment right here. Even when the Flyers win, they lose. Forever hockey purgatory.
You can't look at it like that. What are you supposed to do?
What do you want him to do?
You want him to go lose purposely? Come on. Use your head, man. I mean, it's the stupidest comment I've heard all night.
Well, Russ probably does.
You can want that, but that's not how it's going to work. That's just not how. You're not going to tell a team to go out and lose or to not put an effort in. They're going to fight for their lives. They're going to keep playing hard, and if they win games, they win games. There's going to be games they're not going to win when they played well. So take the win and you move on. There's nothing you could do about where they're at in the standings. I know fans don't like where they're at, but that's where they're at.
Yeah,
a good start to the year. They had a big bump in the road in February, and that really put them behind the 8 ball. Prior to the Olympic break.
Yeah, unfortunately.
But yes.
Okay, so seeing...
see you guys. Have a good night.
Seeing what you've seen so far from the two young bucks, Barkey and Bump, they, I would imagine, are going to be here to stay for at least the rest of the season.
100%. Yeah, I mean, they're gonna give them a good look. I thought Bump had a nice night tonight. He made some good plays. Barkey, I didn't notice tonight. He was very, very quiet tonight. So was Mishkov. I hardly noticed Mishkov tonight, but Bump again made some pretty good plays out there. But yeah, not everybody was noticeable on the ice tonight. I thought again Tippett was really, really good. I thought Zegras was okay tonight. He had a pretty good game, and I thought Dvorak was skating well tonight too.
No, he definitely was too.
Yeah, and I thought the defense did a good job keeping a lot out of the middle of the ice. They did a really good job, sealing off the middle and keeping things to the perimeter.
Grabankin also was another guy that he was really, really
all over the ice tonight. Grabankin really, really being a distraction out there, getting in guys' wheelhouses, getting pucks to the net, making plays in the corner. Yeah, he had a really solid night tonight too.
I mentioned Bump and Barkey specifically though, because once the college season is over, and albeit it may only be for 2 games, but once Martone is here, where those 3 young guys specifically, where do you think that they will play in the lineup? Like,
that's a good. I don't
know. They gonna play with each other?
No, I don't think because you don't have a center on that one. Those 3 guys, they're all wingers.
Okay, yeah, no, never mind. All right, but
come on, Andrew.
It's a long night.
It's been a long day.
Sorry,
it has. Yeah, no, I mean they'll find someone to play him with, but I mean right now with the way the lines are squared away. And Martone will be here whenever the season ends. He'll be here immediately following the Michigan State season. So
maybe Providence will beat him.
Providence is dangerous. I think they're number 6 or 7 in the country.
That sounds right. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean they played some great hockey in the last 3 months. They're a dangerous team.
So what's the show tomorrow? Are we in Bordentown?
You guys are. I'm not there. I can't make it. I got to do a thing for the veterans on ice tomorrow, the Flyers Warriors.
Oh, nice. At
the Flyers Training Center at 6 o'clock. So I'm not going to be on the show tomorrow night. You're going to have Russ Joy and possibly Bill Meltzer with you.
Okay. We love Bill. We can't get enough of Bill. I'll be there as well. I don't know if I'll have a microphone or not, though. But
yeah, you should have a microphone tomorrow night.
I don't know how much I'll add.
You know what? If Russ is adding, you can add too.
I gave you everything I had for this broadcast. I don't know if I can do another hour show. See you, Mike. Yeah. So were there? The other thing is, so Vladar obviously is going to play tomorrow. Then, right? You want to go?
Vladar will be going 100% tomorrow night against Minnesota. That'll be a real tough matchup against Minnesota. A team is playing well, one of the best teams in the league. That'll be a real good matchup tomorrow night to see how they fare against that team tomorrow night.
Yeah. I've been thinking about this, just thinking about like come April when I'm filling out my bracket. If the Stars play the Wild in the first round, which it looks like that's what's going to happen.
That's going to happen, yeah.
Who do you pick in that series? That is as
you flip
big
a coin
toss as
you flip a coin. That's exactly what you do. That's a tough one. I mean, I lean towards Minnesota, but that doesn't mean I'm going to be right. But I have a lean towards Minnesota in that series Colorado's got to pick their act up a little bit right now. Like, I know that they win games, but they for about a good month and a half now, they've not been the same team at the start of the season.
Yeah, but
they've come back to earth.
You got to love the them getting Kadri back, though.
That'll help them a lot. Yeah,
sure.
that'll be a big get for them. There's no doubt about it.
All right, so Flyers taking on the Wild on Thursday, and then we're
tomorrow
back.
Night. Yep.
Saturday,
7:30 against Columbus. Yeah,
Columbus.
Another 7:30 game.
Are we on TNT again?
We're not. I don't know why it's 7:30. I don't know why anybody in a schedule-making business puts games at 7:30. It's absolutely insane. And I don't know if people. I don't know if you fans at home notice it too. The difference between a 7 and 7:30 game. It feels like you're waiting all day long for the game to start. If it's 7:30, 7 o'clock feels like you just pick up right after the afternoon the game starts. But 30 minutes is the end of the world when it comes to it. There's not one person involved in the game day preparation or a player that will tell you any differently. Everybody hates 7:30 starts. We used to do 8 o'clock starts my first year. Some of them were 8 o'clock starts.
8 Eastern time?
8 Eastern, yeah. Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's all. Oh, and the one other thing is that Italy dominated Mexico.
Yeah.
So the United States did make it through in the World Baseball Classic. Do you know who they play in the quarterfinal now?
Italy?
No.
Who?
The United States is playing Canada.
Oh, really? Canada's got their chance at retribution?
We're doing this all over again. The rivalry has another round in another sport.
Canada's not bad. They get the Naylor brothers on it.
Yes.
Josh Naylor. Yeah, we'll see what happens. I think the Americans may have learned their lesson. And
once they figure out what the rules are of the tournament. Like, DeRosa knows that this is now single elimination, right? It's not best 2 out of 3. As long as he knows what the rules are.
Who's the manager?
Mark DeRosa.
Oh, God. Yeah, I heard that today, that he was unaware of what was going on. How do you not know that? How do you not have 20 people telling you?
And then the crazy thing is that MLB, the YouTube channel, deleted that video.
Really?
Yes, they tried to cover it up like no one noticed it. And then I heard that they since re-uploaded it because they were taking a lot of crap online for it. But it's like, oh, what a bad luck. But
yeah, terrible.
No harm, no foul. They made it through. So that's it for us. Great win by the Flyers. Radio show tomorrow in Bordentown, and then, like I said, Saturday night, 7:30 p.m., baby.
And any fans tomorrow night, right after the clinic tomorrow night at 8 o'clock, there's a Flyers Yingling watch party at Dominic's Tavern in Belmar, New Jersey.
Okay.
It usually is packed in there. It'd be myself, Brad Marsh, Doug Crossman will be there for alumni. They'll be doing gifts and prizes and stuff like that. It's a fun night, and they have great wings at Dominic's too. So I'll be chowing down on some wings and watching the Flyers play Minnesota for a couple periods.
And that's because they're Central Time, so that'll be 8 o'clock.
It'll be 8 o'clock here, 7 o'clock in Minnesota.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Good job tonight, Bundy.
Good job, Andrew. Great job tonight, kid. Yeah, way to go.
All right. So thank you everybody for watching. Rate, review, subscribe, share the podcast with everybody you know. And then Russ, I guess, will be leading the charge tomorrow at Chickies and Pete's. But until then, for Bundy, I'm intern Andrew. Thank you everybody for tuning in. Talk to you tomorrow.